Om Sam Saraswati Namaha. Namaste. Namaste. This evening on page 172 of the Shiva Advanced Puja, incidentally, if you didn't see it last night, we got to do it, or a lot of it, and bits and pieces. And that's what it happens when you do the Shiva. You become empowered to produce this festival of a celebration of Shiva. And it's not only the birth of Shiva as divine, and it's not only the marriage of Shiva and Parvati, but the birth of the Shiva within us. We all got to sing and dance and celebrate our own divinity. And that's why it was so exciting. You guys really know how to party. Thank you all for joining us.
Thank you, everyone. It was so fun.
So,
We had a good teacher.
on page 172, we're going to establish. Yes, please.
I'm pretty sure we're on page 155, Swamiji.
Yeah.
Really?
I think you were using your book yesterday. So
Oh, I was using my book. Please let me go back. And what's the section called?
Shiva Dhyanam.
Shiva Dhyanam. Well, ladies and gentlemen, on page 155, let's meditate on the form of Shiva. Thank you for putting me in my place. Tell it like it is. That's his obligation. He's obligated to tell it like it is. You got to be straight with the guru. Don't let me take off in the middle of the book. We extol the God who is the Lord of Uma, the God of gods. And U means the circumstance. A-U-Ma. Uma, it means the measurement of the circumstances. And so she's the lady who embodies all of creation. She is Prakriti. And actually, pra means before, and kri means becoming, and iti means this. Sounds like a great name for a book, Mom. Before becoming this. So, we should write one like that, if we haven't already. And she is the embodiment. Uma is the embodiment of Prakriti. And what was before all of this became Uma. The measurement of all existence, of all that is. If A is creation and U is circumstance, Ma is the culmination or transformation, Om. So then U is the circumstance of all existence and Ma is the measurement. So Uma is Gauri. She's another name for Gauri, that lady who is rays of light. She just radiates the light all over wherever she goes and becomes Uma. We extol the Lord, the God who is the Lord of Uma, the God of the gods. He who has the radiance of emeralds, who shows the mudra of the deer, that's Mrig Mudra, also known as the wish-fulfilling tree, that's the Kalpatara Mudra. Yeah, it's called the Mrig Mudra because he looks like a deer if you turn him sideways. And he's the Kalpatara Mudra because you take the energy from above and you transmit to the rest of us below. He's the transmitter. So it's known as the tree which grants the fruit of all desire. And we used that mudra last night to say Om Namo Shivaya Swaha. That was the mudra with which we made the offering of grains. So we extol he whose three eyes are the sun, the moon, and the fire. Where have we heard that one before? Wisdom, devotion, and the purification of meditation, the light of purity. We extol the beloved of Vishnu. Actually, Vishnu loves Shiva as much as Shiva loves Vishnu. And we extol the refuge of all devotees, the giver of boons. We extol the consciousness of infinite bliss, goodness, the cause of bliss. He is Shankar. Shan means peace, and Shan means bliss, and Kar means the cause. He's Shankar, the cause of all bliss, the cause of all peace. O tongue, Hey, Mr. Tong, if you're going to do anything while you're sitting around for the next 90 or 100 years, sing the praises of the Lord of the universe who dwells at Badranath, the Kedarnath, and wears ashes. He stays in Bhimathankar, in Baidyanath, in Nageshwar, in Rameshwar, Omkareshwar, Mamaleshwar, Mahankam, Malik Arjun Trambakam, Somanath Om. We bow and meditate on the 11 forms of Rudra. And the only one missing there is Gushmeshwar, and then you have the 12 Jyotirlingams. And they did make a mistake. There were actually 13 Napeshwar. Everybody's entitled to a few mistakes. I mean, really, this was published a long time ago. The god who wears the part of the moon, he wears snakes. The supreme divinity who wears skulls. Actually, he's taken all the negativities from our karma. He made a garland of them. All those negative voices chattering in your head, he just cut off their heads, made a garland of them, and he wears this garland of skulls of impure thoughts. All the impure personalities that plague us. With Gauri on his left side, thank you, Gauri, displaying 3 eyes and a garland of Rudraksha. He supports the Ganga who's running down from the matted locks of hair with a blue throat. The attained ones, that's us, sing the praises to the Lord of the universe with full devotion and seek his protection. So, Nilagribu Raktabakhu Shwetangang Chandrasekharam, that's his form. Nilakantam, he's got a blue throat. Raktabakhum, he's got red arms. Shwetangang, he's got a white body. And he wears the digit of the moon in his hand. Because he embodies, if you look at Shiva, he's got a blue throat, he's got red arms, he's got a white body. Okay, he's red, white, and blue. Hooray for the red, white, and blue. That's our Shiva. And the red is Rajas, the white is Sattva, and the blue is Tamas. And he wears Sattva Raja Tamaguna as just the color of the outfit that he uses to wear today. So he's a well-dressed Shiva. That's why he's got red, white, and blue. Sattva Raja Tama. And now, where is he? Who is filled with peace, sitting in the full lotus posture with the moon on his forehead, with 5 faces and 3 eyes, 3 in each face. Do the math. He holds the trident, the thunderbolt, the sword, and the axe, and shows the mudras which grant freedom from all fear. And in his 5 hands he holds, those are the right side, and he's got a sword, a noose, a bell, a small drum, that's the damaru, and a curved sword are in those of his left hand, and his various ornaments are shining like gems and crystal. I bow to the husband of Parvati. Now, Parvati Pati Namaha. Hari Om. I bow to the husband of Parvati. Of white color like pure camphor. He is the embodiment of compassion. He's the lord of objects and relationships, who wears the king of snakes as a necklace. All the energy of the universe is inside the snake. That's called Kundalini. All manifested energy is symbolized by the snake, which he just wears as an ornament. And it looks very becoming on him too. I bow to he who always resides in the lotus of the heart of all existence, along with the divine mother of the universe. When Sharada, Saraswati, who has performed inconceivable austerities of purification and spiritual disciplines, is unable to know or write of your qualities. Now here, Saraswati can't describe you. Then what shall we be able to sing? Or what should I say about you? If Saraswati, who knows all knowledge, can't talk about you, she can't write about you, she can't describe you, then what's this sadhu supposed to say? You alone are mother and father. You alone are friend and relative. You alone are knowledge and wealth. Oh my God of gods, you alone are everything. Any fault committed by the actions of my hands and feet, speech or body, my eyes, ears or mind, whether authorized or unauthorized, all that please forgive me. Aparada sahasrani, tatsarvang shamyatam devi. Hey, you gotta forgive it all. I'm sorry, I'm a little dense. Any fault committed through agyan, adismritir, brantya, if I made any mistake because of ignorance, because I just don't know. Asmritya, I forgot. Forgetfulness. I tend to forget a lot of things. If I could remember your mantra, that would be enough for me. And Agyana Dismita Brantya, just plain confusion. Just plain, simple confusion. I didn't know what to do. Tatsarvang shamyatam devi. All of that you please forgive. Oh, may you be so gracious. Victory, victory to the ocean of compassion, the respected great God, the illuminator of peace, upon whose head the moon resides, destroyer of the God of love. Remember, he burnt with one glance love, who came to infect him with impure passion. I don't mind getting married to Parvati for the benefit of the universe, but I'm sure not going to do it because you infected me with passion and I started lusting after her. Out, out, God of love. Who supports the Ganga, the cause of peace, at whose throat the snake shines, and also as the ornaments in his ears. He's got other snakes in his ears. That's why he doesn't listen to us so often. In whose third eye resides the fire of universal existence. That's the purifier. The fire of universal existence. With teeth of ivory. I need a dentist like that. Wearing a beautiful garment, he takes away the difficulties of the ocean of the three worlds for the purpose of liberation. Do what is necessary to stop the changes and modifications of consciousness. Consciousness is one in its whole, and it's always the same. It's not changing, but I keep showing different movies over the stage of consciousness. He reflects everything that I show him, so it appears that the consciousness is changing, and I get lured into the Maya thinking that it's my change, and I'm not really changing. I was here when I was a baby. I was here when I was a young boy. I was here when I was a teenager, and I'm still around. I didn't change at all. Just my nature changed. And it changed a lot. And it still changes. So let me stop thinking that the consciousness is changing and understand it's the nature changing. She is dancing on the stage of consciousness. And she changes according to will because she wills it. And she authors all the changes and modifications in existence. We meditate upon that universal consciousness, contemplate the great God. May that reliever of sufferings grant us increase. The bliss of supreme divinity, the highest pleasure, the only image of wisdom, beyond all changes, the pure perception through the ether, the highest goal of all principles, one, eternal, pure, unmovable, the witness of the minds of all beings, beyond all attributes, beyond the three gunas. I bow to she who is the true guru. From Narayan, that's Vishnu, to the Lotus One, that's Brahma, to Vashishta, that's the wise guru who has Ishta, his desired objective, Vosh Kodachen. He established his desired objective, or his desire. He became the desired form of divinity became established within him. Vashishta, we call him the wise guy. To his disciple Shakti, to his son Parashar, to Vyas, to Shukdev, to go to Padachar, to his disciple Mahant, to the king of yogis Govinda in disciplic succession, in the same way as Shiva gave the mantra to Ramakrishna, who gave it to Shrima, who gave it to me, and we're passing it around. In their parambar, in their disciplic succession from day one, the respected Shankaracharya and his disciples Padmapadacharya, Hastamalakacharya, Totakacharya, and Sureshwaracharya, and therefore to other gurus, always we bow the head. Matanastakam kori. To he who made manifest this infinite existence and made the individual forms which move and move not, in order to perceive his lotus feet, I bow down to the respected guru. If you want to see Shiva, bow down to your guru. I bow to her respected feet, and that empowers me to sit by Shiva and learn how to sit still. Stam sting stiro bhava pat. And the guru is Brahma. And the guru is Vishnu, the guru is the Lord Maheshwara. The guru is actually the supreme divinity, and therefore we bow down to the guru. So all Brahma, Vishnu, Shiva, they all came and manifested in the form of guru. And the guru manifested as the form of Brahma, Vishnu, and Shiva. So if you want to go to get the darshan of Brahma, Vishnu, or Shiva, you got to go through the guru. She's got a monopoly on the agency principle. Counselor, am I out of order? The guru is actually the supreme divinity, and therefore we bow down to the guru. The repository of compassion described in the Vedas, that's the Shruti, the Vedas are Shruti, that's what you hear. And in the histories and commentaries in Smriti, or that's Itihastahitya, the histories and literature, commentaries of Smriti, and in the Puranas, I bow down to the feet of that divinity, the cause of peace to the worlds. Shankara, 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 Loka Shankaram. Again and again we adore with worship Shankar and Keshava, Shiva and Vishnu. Because it's Harihar. We don't care about the form of divinity. We want to worship the formless divinity. You don't want to only worship God with your eyes closed. You got to worship Him with your eyes open too. So we worship Shiva and Vishnu, along with their spokesman and their commentators, Shankaracharya and Vyas, Badarayan. The supreme divinity is the soul of the guru, the image of the divinity distinguished by attributes. So here is the supreme divinity with attributes. That's Saguna Brahman. Who is indivisible like the sky. We bow down to Dakshinamurti, the preferred image. Now, Dakshin and Vama are right and left. Not all the time, sometimes it's wrong. But they're usually on the right and on the left. Dakshin is the right and Vam is the left. And they also mean, Vama means beloved. So Vamadev is not the left deity. He's the beloved deity. Dakshinamurti is not the right deity. She is the preferred deity. The image which is most preferred. Dakshinamurtaye Namaha. We bow down to Dakshinamurti, the preferred image, various of excellently scented flowers which rise in their time according to the seasons, whatever's locally available. Your devotees are offering for your worship. Please accept, O Supreme Lord. In Saurashtra, he's called Somnath. And in Sri Sela, he's called Mallikarjuna. In Ujjinyam, he's called Mahakalam. And in Omkara, he's Parameshwaram. He's called Kedar on the back of the Himalayas, that's Kedarnath. And in the south, Bhimashankaram, that's just very close to Mumbai. In Varanasi, he's called Vishweshwam or Vishwanath, and in Gautami, he's called Trambakam. Somebody made it up to the top of the Gautami, the origins of the Gautami River, or in Trambakam, and that's Trambakkam's origin. In Chittabhumi, the land of consciousness, he's called Vaidyanathan. That's in Bihar. And in the forest of Dwarka, he's Nagesham. Dwarka, he's Nageshwaram. And there are three Nageshwarams. One is in Gujarat, one is in Maharashtra, and one is in Uttar Pradesh. Where they made the bridge, that's going from to Lanka. That's in your territory down there in the south. Where they made the bridge, he's called Rameshwaram or Ramesham, and in the place of Shiva, he's Gushmesham. Gushmeshwar is he's in Maharashtra, near to Ellora, near to Aurangabad. Whoever will read these 12 names upon rising in the early morning will be freed from the bondage of sin and will attain the fruits of perfection. Om Namah Shivaya. I bow to the consciousness of infinite goodness. And now we're going to make some offerings to you, Shiva. I'm going to invite you. First I'm going to show you where I want you to sit. I'm showing you your seat. This is where I'd like, I'm inviting you to come in and take a seat of honor which I've reserved for you, only for you. And I say, Anekaratna Samyutam. I say, united with many gems and a multitude of various jewels, voluntarily accept my offering of a divine seat. I'm not forcing you, Shiva. Voluntarily you have to accept this seat just because you think I'm a qualified devotee and you like me. You want to come sit here on the seat that I've reserved for you, front row center. And I, with the offering of a seat, I bow to the consciousness of infinite goodness. Avahani Mudra, I invite you, please come. Ihagacha, Ihagacha. I bow to the consciousness of infinite goodness, and then I invite you, please come. Staponi. Om Ihatishta, I establish you within. Samidaponi, I know you have many devotees who are requesting your attention, but I request that you pay attention to me. Shiva, I'm a nice guy. I've been yelling at you all night long, and I'm still here yelling some more. Please, you come here, you sit here, you just stay there. Ihashani Dapone, Ihashani Rudjeshwa, I'm binding you to remain here. Whoa, don't go anywhere, Shiva. Whoa, just stay here. I'm sorry for any inconvenience this causes you. I know there are devotees all around the universe, all around the cosmos that are calling you to please come sit in their special seat of honor. But I'm also calling you. I'm one amongst them. You could come here for a little bit. If it causes you any difficulty, I apologize, but thanks for coming. Yashamihita Baba, you bestow abundant wealth. Atma Samarpan, I surrender my soul unto you. Shiva, I'm depending on you to forgive me in this matter. But Dev Mama Pujangrihana, please, I'm begging you, please accept my respectful worship. Deva Bhakta Shulave Paritrana Karayite Javotwam Pujayishami Tavotwam Shustirava. Just so long as I worship you, please don't get up. You just stay there. So you all remember the time when Vindhya got a lot of ego. He's the big mountain in the center of India, and he said, I want to be more famous than Mount Meru. I'm going to become the tallest of all the mountains. And he started growing, and he growing and growing and grown. And then the sun came, and he was driving around his chariot around the earth, and he came to Vindhya Mountain. He said, Vindhya, get out of the way. You're too big for me to pass. And Vindhya said, no, you got to go around me just like you go around Mount Meru. And the sun said, that's not my itinerary. That's not in the rules and regulations. You're violating the normal course of my daily routine. If I go around you, I'm going to be late. And time will get all messed up. Vindhya said, I'm not going to get out of your way. You do whatever you want. Surya stopped and started to think, what can I do? And when he stopped there, the sun was blazing on one side of the earth, and it was still night on the other side of the earth. And all the functions of creation stopped. And the guys on the bright side said, whoa, it's getting so hot. Why doesn't Surya go and continue his journey? And the guys on the dark side said, it's cold. This is not appropriate. It's freezing here. When's morning going to come? And all the rishis said, hey, time stopped. No one is making yajna. If nobody makes an offering to the fire, how are we going to eat? If the gods don't get fed, how will we give blessings? If we don't give blessings, how's the karma going to continue on the earth? Without blessings? Who wants that? Yuck. Let's find a solution. All the gods went to Brahma. Said, Brahma, Vindhya's grown so big that the sun cannot pass. You have to find a way to make Vindhya get to humble Vindhya so he's not such a big mountain. Brahma said, I don't know how to do that. Let's go to Vishnu. They all went to Vishnu. They sang a great big hymn of praise. They Om Narayan. And they bowed down to Narayan and sang praises and hymns to Vishnu and said, Vishnu, you got to find a solution. Vindhya's grown so big the sun cannot pass. Day and night have stopped and nothing's going on. Creation is about to cease to exist. And the gods are getting hungry. Vishnu thought for a moment and said, I don't have a solution, let's go to Shiva. They all went to Shiva and they did tapasya for Lord Shiva, and Shiva came and said, what do you want? And they said, Shiva, Vindhya has grown so big that he stopped the course of the sun, and he's demanding that the sun go around the mountain just like he goes around Mount Meru. Now, you know and we know that that can't happen. So you've got to find a way to make Vindhya lower his height. Shiva said, I don't know how to do that, but I know who does. Come with me. They all went to Benares. And in Benares, Agastya Muni was doing tapasya on the bank of the Ganga. And they all went to Agastya. And they all sang hymns of praise. And Agastya immediately woke up from his meditation. He said, oh, Brahma, Vishnu, and Shiva, and all the gods, and all the rishis, and all the munis have come to bless me. What could I possibly do for you to demonstrate the sincerity of this sense of privilege that I have, that you're all standing at my door? And Brahma, Vishnu, and Shiva said, Agastya Muni, Vindhya has grown so tall, he's making the sun to go around him. Can you find a way to make Vindhya bow down? Agastya said, with your grace, everything is possible. Of course I can find a way. Just give me a little time and I will take care of this problem. Agastya picked up his things and he circumambulated the city of Benares. He just walked all around it and bowed down to all his favorite places. And then he started walking south. And he walked over the mountain ranges towards the south, and when he got to the middle of India, he saw Vindhya was so tall. He said, "Oh, Vindhya, namaste, I bow down to you." And Vindhya said, "Oh, Agastya Muni has come to my ashram. What a privilege it is to have such a great and important Muni, a well-respected performer of tapasya, come to visit me. What could I possibly do to demonstrate my sense of privilege? What seva can I do for you?" And Agastya said, "Vindhya, I'm on a pilgrimage to the south. And you see, you've grown quite big. Could you please lower yourself a little bit so I can cross over you?" And Vindhya said, "Certainly, for such a great master as yourself, there is nothing that I wouldn't do." And Vindhya bowed down. And Agastya crossed over. And he said, "Vindhya, I will come back. Could you please stay down like that until I return?" And Vindhya said, "Of course I will." So Agastya Muni went to the south of India and he made his hermitage in Mallikarjuna. Jabo thong puja ishami, tabo thong shustira bhava. Just as long as I'm worshiping you, you just stay like that. You just stay where you are. Don't get up. Don't move. Don't make yourself bigger. Don't make yourself smaller. Please remain sitting still. And now I'm going to make Pran Pratishta. We did that before. We did it to the pot. We're going to do it to the worshiper. We're going to do it to the yantra. We're going to do it to the fire. We're going to establish the life in the deity. Om Ring Rong Yang Rang Lam Wang Sham Sham Tang Among Sa Om Namah Shivaya Prana Giya Prana. Om, the infinite beyond conception, creation, the first letter, consciousness, Maya, the cause of the movement of the subtle body to perfection and beyond. The path of fulfillment, control, subtle illumination, one with the earth, emancipation, the soul of peace, the soul of delight, the soul of unity. All this is I, perfection, infinite consciousness. This is I. Om, I bow to the consciousness of infinite goodness. You are the life of this life. Om, the infinite beyond conception, creation, the first letter, consciousness, Maya, the cause of the movement of the subtle body to perfection and beyond, the path of fulfillment, control, subtle illumination, one with the earth, emancipation, the soul of peace, the soul of delight, the soul of unity. All this is I, perfection, infinite consciousness. This is I. Om, I bow to the consciousness of infinite goodness. You are situated in this life, or in this individual consciousness. Om, the infinite beyond conception, creation, the first letter, consciousness, Maya, the cause of the movement of the subtle body to perfection and beyond, the path of fulfillment, control, subtle illumination, one with the earth, emancipation, the soul of peace, the soul of delight, the soul of unity. All this is I, perfection, infinite consciousness. This is I. Om, I bow to the consciousness of infinite goodness. You are all these organs of action and knowledge. So we've got 5 Gyanendriyas, eyes, ears, nose, mouth, skin, everything that gives you knowledge. You've got 5 Karmendriyas, everything that allows us to act. All the 10 Indriyas, Das Indriyas, these are the organs of knowledge and action. Om, the infinite beyond conception, creation, the first letter, consciousness, Maya, the cause of the movement of the subtle body to perfection and beyond, the path of fulfillment, control, subtle illumination, one with the earth, emancipation, the soul of peace, the soul of delight, the soul of unity. All this is I, perfection, infinite consciousness. This is I. Om, I bow to the consciousness of infinite goodness. You are all these vibrations, the mind, the sound, the eyes, the ears, the tongue, the nose, and the life force. Bring forth peace, infinite peace, and establish it forever. I am one with God. Let's establish Shiva in our hands, Nam in the thumb, I bow. Om Ma in the forefinger, I am one with God. Om Bong in the ring finger, Om Sing in the middle finger, purify. Om Bong in the ring finger, cut the ego. Om Ya in the little finger, the ultimate purity. Roll hand over hands, forwards and back, and I bow to the consciousness of infinite goodness with the weapon of virtue. Oh, I bow to the consciousness of infinite goodness. Om Nam in the heart I bow. Om Ma on the top of the head, I'm one with God. Om Shing on the back of the head, purify. Om Bong, crossing both arms, cut the ego. Om Yan, then the three eyes, ultimate purity. Roll hand over hand, forwards and back. Oh, I bow to the consciousness of infinite goodness with the weapon of virtue. Fire. Oh, I bow to the consciousness of infinite goodness. And here we do chop. Om Namah Shivaya. Om Namah Shivaya. Om Namah Shivaya. Om Namah Shivaya. Om Sam Saraswati Namaha. Namaste. Namaste. Let's see if there are any questions on the material we covered this evening. Yes, please.
We have a question from Sadatmananda in Washington.
Namaste Sadatmananda.
Does the Ishta always stay as the most beloved? Is there a point in our sadhana where we are able to see Shiva as the same as our Ishta? Thank you.
If you make Shiva your Ishta, then your Ishta is Shiva. Yes. What do you desire? Who is the form that you love the most? Some may say it's Sri Ma. She's your Ishta. Your guru is your Ishta. Sri Ma becomes Shiva on Shivaratri. Your Ishta just became Shiva. Navaratri is coming and we're going to worship Durga. And we're going to find our Ishta is Durga. Who is the chosen form of deity that you worship? It's going to change from Sankalpa to Sankalpa. But each one of us traces our lineage to our guru, who traces her lineage to her parampar, disciplic succession, so that we would have a tendency to take on the same Ishta as our guru does. We learn the same yantra as the guru uses. We learn the same path of worship as the guru uses. So Srimad worships the Shabashti Upasana. She worships everybody. But her focus is Shiva. Now, I worship the cosmic puja, and my first focus is Shiva Shakti. Nothing is wrong, nothing is right. But your Ishta is changing. How do you define the definition of your desired form of worship? Your attitude of worship, your parampar of worship, comes in the tradition of your guru. So that will be how you decide who is your Ishta. She will give you the mantra and say, okay, worship this way. She will say, sit. Dhyana mulang guru murtin, puja mulang guru padam. Sit by my feet and watch the way I worship. And learn that form of worship. Here's a book, here's a tape, here's a CD, here's a video. I will learn this form of worship. That will be your Ishta. Now, you have a temporary Ishta for every festival, but your path, your parampar, your Ishta Dev is in the lineage of your guru. So if anyone were going to ask your Ishta, you could say Shiva Shakti, or you could say Shiva, or you could say Chandi. There are no wrong answers. They're all right. In the same way, if you go to Ayodhya, it is Treta Yuga. Everywhere you go, Jai Sri Ram, Jai Sri Ram. You feel like it's Treta Yuga. If you go to Vrindavan, Radhe Radhe, Radhe Radhe, you feel like it's Dwapar Yuga. If you go downtown San Francisco, you feel like it's Kali Yuga. And if you come to the Devi Mandir, you feel like it's Satya Yuga. There is a Vyakti Dharma and a Yuga Dharma. And the Yuga Dharma is the preponderance of all of creation is striving to live in darkness. It's Kali Yuga for the preponderance of people. However, at the same time, if you go to Ayodhya, it's Treta Yuga, Ram Nam Satya Hai. If you go to Vrindavan or Mathura, Hare Krishna, Radhe Radhe. If you go to the Devi Mandir, Om Namah Shivaya. There's a Yuga Dharma and an individual Dharma. All the individuals who came to the Devi Mandir last night left all the Kali Yuga at the gate before they entered into the ashram precincts. They came into Satya Yuga. And many times, I'm sure many of you have gone to San Francisco with us. Mother brings her Satya Yuga with her wherever she goes. That's why people are so blown away. She walks into the hospital with baskets of groceries. She has a presentation for everybody. And they all can't imagine, who is this lady who came from Satya Yuga? She's just a giver. She is the epitome of the definition of spiritual. She gives more than she takes. And then we pay the bill. It's not in deference or without paying the bill. We gave the doctor an apple or a cake. No, we got to pay the bill too. So there's an individual yuga and there's a samadhi yuga. And there's a Yuga Dharma and a Vyakti Dharma, an individual Dharma. In the same way, there's Sattva-raja and Tama-guna. And it's the predominant attitude of a certain area, of the definition of a certain group. There's an individual guna, which is more predominant in you. And you can see it changes when you're doing business, you're in Rajaguna. When you're sitting in meditation, you're in Satyaguna. When you're studying and learning, and you're in Gyan Shakti, you're in Tamaguna. You've made the world in darkness and only the light within is shining. Depending on your point of view, we can define the individual guna that is predominant in each individual. In each area, in each ashram, in each city, in each locality. So in the same way that we define the gunas and we define the yugas, we can define all the ishta is the embodiment of your present desire. Isht means the desired one. We think it refers to a murti because we live in the temple. But you know, there are many Gujarati grocery stores that have a murti of Lakshmi sitting on the cash register. And they think that Lakshmi is the stuff that goes into the box instead of the lady who stands on top. Their goal is to bring Lakshmi to Narayan. Rake it in as best as they can. So there is an individual ishta and a group ishta. And the ishta, the form of the ishta, the form of your desired murti is changing according to your focus and to your desires. Yes, please.
Does the mantra diksha that you're given as well going along with your ishta, as that changes, does that mean that your mantra, your desired mantra would also change?
It would change, yes, absolutely. When you first come to the Devi Mandir and say, well, how should we start worship? I would say Om Namah Shivaya. Namah Shivaya. 5 syllables, 5 letters is a pretty easy place to start. When you get a little more sophisticated, I would say Om Eng Ring Kling Chamundai Bichai. That's 9 letters. A little more sophisticated. When you get a little more sophisticated, I'd say Kai Larim Hasaka Halarim Sakalarim. That's 15 letters. And when you get more sophisticated, I say Kahai Larim Hasaka Halarim Sakalarim. That's 16 letters. Well, if you want to get more sophisticated, we go on and on until we reach the Shatakshar Vidhi, and that is 100 letters. And when you're ready to make jop of 100 letters mantra, come and see me.
We have a question from Nanda in San Jose.
Namaste, Nandama.
The guru plays such an important part in the sadhak's life, but why is the guru's parampara so important?
The Guru's parampara links us to a heritage and to a tradition so that we know we're not making this up by the seat of our pants. We are following a tradition, a heritage, and every time we sit down we say Om Guru Bhyo Namo, Om Param Guru Bhyo Namo, Om Para Guru Bhyo Namo, Om Parameshti Guru Bhyo. I bow to the entire parampara. I bow to the entire lineage. I bow to the tradition. I bow to the heritage. I bow to the image of purity. I bow to the history which brought this knowledge down to me and empowered me. They made the sacrifice, just like the first shloka of the Sadhana Panchakam. We are presenting these mantras so that people who will come in the future will be empowered to fully accept this knowledge. I got this knowledge from those guys, and it's not something I'm making up myself. It's not New Age collection. It's rooted in history. It's got a tradition. It's got a heritage. It's got a parampara. And that's why, Nanda, you want to remember the parampara. Your guru sitting there, his guru sitting there. You are representing all of us. The entire lineage. Every time you sit down, the first thing you're going to do is say, oh, thank you, Ganesh, and thank you, gurus, and thank you, gods, and thank you, goddesses. You empowered me to be sitting here in this seat today, doing what I'm about to do. Wow, what a gift. That's the best inheritance any kid could ask for. You empowered me to extricate myself from bondage to this craziness of Maya. Even for a few minutes. Thank you.
We have a question from Sadhana Shakti in Seattle.
Namaste, Sadhana Shakti.
Pranam. If God is always with us, then why do we have to bind him to come and sit with us? Is this part of guiding our mind into a state of constant awareness?
Yes. And more so, Sadhana, in addition to binding our mind. See, God is always with us, but actually the truth is we're not always with God. Now, so when I say I'm binding you to stay with me, I also have an implied covenant that I'm going to stay with you. And the mantra said, Jabo Twang Puja Ishami, as long as I'm worshiping you, Tabo Twang Shustira Baba, you have the obligation to stay with me. So please, I'm not only binding you to stay with me, but I'm binding me to stay with you. And please empower me to do that. Please allow me to remember my promise. Because if I don't uphold my end of the deal, how can I hold you responsible for upholding yours? If I'm not ready to stay with you, how can I be disappointed if you don't stay with me? It's really the responsibility is with me. The onus of proof is with me, the devotee. It's not with you. You're always with me. And thanks a lot for that opportunity.
We have a question from Vivekananda.
Namaste, Vivek.
Recently I have found devotion to Kal Bhairav. I know he is worshipped before entering a Shiva temple. I know he is Shiva. If it is not out of scope, could you give me some knowledge on him to increase my devotion?
I can, but I'm not going to give you a Wikipedia on the webcam. But I will say that Kal is time, and Bhairav is the fear. And the fear of time is the fear of transformation. It's things are changing. And I don't want them to change because I don't know what the future is going to hold, and therefore I experience fear. I only fear what I don't know. When I don't know what the result is going to be, I get to be afraid. And if I know what the result is going to be, I say, oh, okay, bring it on. I can handle that. It's not so bad. So, Kal Bhairav, he is the fearful lord of time, Mahakal. And he is a part of the Bhamapanth. He's part of the beloved tradition of extricating ourselves from bondage to the world of objects and relationships. Remember, there are 8 kinds of behavior. The first is Vaishnavacharan, we take an inspiration. The second is Shiva Vedikacharan. We begin to learn about what inspires us. The third is Shiva Achara, and we practice what we learned. The fourth is Bhama Achara, the beloved behavior, where we use our knowledge with the ultimate efficiency to create the greatest harmony and empowering the most amount of people towards the most pure objectives. That was a mouthful. But it's true. That's what Brahmachara is. Dakshinachara is the preferred behavior. We reduce our necessity to work in the world. I got nothing more to prove. I've earned out. I got enough to keep myself going. Now let me reduce the necessity, reduce the risk in my life. I'm going to reduce my risk profile so that now I get to spend more time thinking about God and less time thinking about what's at risk. And then comes, of course, Siddhantachara, the behavior according to the scriptures. And that is the 7 kinds of karma yoga: puja, pat, homa, sangit, nrit, pravachan, and arpana. Puja is worship, pat, recitation of scriptures, homa, the fire ceremony, sangit, singing, nrit, the dancing. We had dancing girls and dancing boys last night. Pravachan is explaining what we're doing and why we're doing it and what it means in my life. And arpana means serving. Mom made a heck of a good feast this morning. Last night, I guess it was for us. So those are the forms of Siddhanta Charan from doing the Siddhant. See, I got an inspiration. I cultivated the knowledge. I began to practice. I used that knowledge in my life and became very efficient. I then reduced the necessity to act in the world. And the way I reduced the necessity to be in the world was by increasing my spiritual practices. Increasing the amount of time and focus that I can give to Siddhanta Chara, to the various forms of spiritual practice. Through which I did all the sadhanas from all the various disciplines, through which I reached Yogachara, the behavior of union. And through Yogachara, I went to Kulachara, the behavior of excellence. And Kulachara means whether I'm sitting in samadhi or I'm working in my office or I'm chopping wood or I'm carrying water or I'm chanting mantras, I'm in the same bhavana. I remain the same. Everything I do is part of the puja. Kulachara, the behavior of excellence. Actually, that's the goal. All of these are the steps. I get an inspiration, I cultivate the knowledge, I begin the practice, I use the practice in my life, and I become good at it. I become so proficient, I don't make a mistake. I can look you in the eye and say the mantra. I reduce my necessity for action in the world by increasing my spiritual practices, and when spiritual practice is the way of my life, I enter into union and stay there. And when I come out of samadhi, and when I come out of worship, and when I come out of the temple, I'm still in the same bhavana. I still have the same attitude. I've got kulachara, the behavior of excellence. And that's the goal. Whether you're sitting in samadhi or you're working in the world, you're chopping wood and carrying water, you're writing contracts and litigating positions, mediating various, whatever you're doing, you're in the bhava. You don't leave that center. You maintain that focus and that efficiency. You become sadhu. So those are the forms of behavior, and that's how they apply in our lives.
We have a question from Usha.
Namaste, Ushama.
Pranam. When is the Pran Pratishtha done only once, and when are the mantras done twice in a puja?
The Pran Pratishtha is not done only once, it's done 4 times. And we're going to do it again. And we should do it every day. And the reason is I'm giving birth to this life. This is no longer the life that mommy gave me when I was that little. This is the life that I'm giving birth to. I'm empowering myself to be divine. That's the goal. So we're making pran pratishtha to the pot. We make pran pratishtha to the yantra on my chest. We make pran pratishtha to the flower on the yantra on the altar. We make pran pratishtha to the fire in the fireplace. You make pran pratishtha to the murti, to the ishta whom you worship. You make pran pratishtha wherever you go, wherever you want to establish life. And the life force, and the consciousness and the ability and the capacity to perceive that life force. That's where you make pran pratishtha. So you'll make this pran pratishtha many times throughout the day, because that's your job as creator. Create tricks. You create your creation constantly. And you establish life in your creation constantly. And you empower your creation constantly. Look at what do you do with your children? You empower them constantly. Constantly. You make pran pratishtha. You establish life and life force and the capacity, the ability to perceive that life force, that empowerment within all of that is divine to you. So everything you do is part of that establishment of life.
We have another question from Sadatmananda.
Yes, please.
How can I be a sadhu, giving more than I take, when I'm at a point in my life where I have limited resources and time?
Oh, but you also have a lot of energy. I'm an old man. I can't pick up that board by myself. Come on over and help me lift the heavy things. There's a lot of ways that you can share your love and share your energy, and it is not all financial. You'll get to the financial place of self-sufficiency and self-security when you complete your education and find your vocation and find the way that you want to make your contribution to this world, and thereafter you'll have the financial resources. But until you get the financial resources, you can ask good questions. That empowers me. You can study the material we're giving you. That empowers me. You're making a donation, a contribution on many, many levels all at the same time. And don't think it all has to be objectively recorded in a ledger. It's not all quantifiable. There are many intangibles that you give forth, Sadatmananda. And it is incumbent upon you to recognize all of your gifts, and not just quantifiable ones. Yes, please, Srini.
Swamiji, when an individual or organization grows, you tend to have more and more relationships, new relationships. How do you manage to remain efficient in the face of growth?
Oh. The honest answer is by having people like you around who can take over a portion of management. And I appreciate all that you do for the Devi Mandir. I really do. But that's the only way it can happen. Because if I don't have good, qualified, trusted, reliable resources that I can rely upon to help me manage the growth, I'm going to be the epitome of the Peter principle. I will rise to my highest potential of inefficiency and my greatest mediocrity, and where I make the most mistakes daily, and that's where I will remain. So by having friends that are qualified, and by having associates who are trusted, and by having people who can share the burden with me, we can grow intelligently, empowering each other. And that's ultimately the objective in creating and solidifying an organization. A group of people. It's got to be more than a bunch of people that got to do stuff. They have to be motivated people who want to do. We got to put down all the gottas and pick up all the wannas. You got to put down all the shouldas and pick up all the opportunities. And you got to keep everybody focused on the same goal, because the goal is together to empower each other towards our maximum efficiency. It is certainly not to create a greater burden and a greater obligation for one individual. That individual would want to run away. That individual would want to go to India and sit on a mountaintop by himself. That individual would probably want to look for any excuse he possibly could, even if it was the middle of summer, the hottest time of the year, just to go sit in the hottest place of India and just to escape from the burdens and obligations of managing an organization. We wouldn't want to create such a situation. Don't ever allow such a circumstance to evolve. What you want to do is to inspire and empower and show how we can work together to the maximum efficiency and empowerment of all the individuals in the organization, and thereby it becomes an organization. Om Sam Saraswati Namaha. Namaste.